I 33 female told my boyfriend 33 male I loved him, and he said thank you. I'm looking for some advice because I've never been in this situation before, and I don't want to make any hasty choices. I told my boyfriend that I loved him tonight, and he told me that he was grateful that I told him, but he wasn't there yet. He told me that he likes me a lot and cares about me, that he wants to be in this relationship and he sees potential, but he doesn't love me yet. He told me he's sorry that it hurts and that he's been in my place before and knows how it feels. We've been together exclusively for 6 months-ish. While I do appreciate the clarity and his honesty, the other part of me wants to cut and run. I've never really been confident in this relationship because I've always been unclear on his feelings for me, but at least now I know where I stand. I'm humiliated because I genuinely believed we're on the same page, and I'm shocked that he didn't say it back. My ego is bruised, and I'm honestly just numb. After being rejected, I don't know if I can look at him the same way. I know he likes me and cares about me, but I deserve to be loved the way I know I can give it. I don't want to leave him, but I don't know if I can stay. Do I wait it out and hope that he can get there, or do I call it quits now so I don't spend more time in limbo? We work so well together, and I thought I saw a future with this man. The kicker is that I'm so surprised by this revelation that I don't honestly know how I feel about him, and I wish I had never said anything at all. But the toothpaste is out of the tube, and I can't unsay it. I want things to just go back to how they were before I said anything, but I don't know how to proceed. Has anyone else been in a similar situation and had it work out for them? If so, how did you and your partner move past it? How long is this relationship? If it's a few months, then people fall in love at different paces, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything other than exactly what he told you, that he's not there yet. But if we're talking a year, or years, then if he doesn't now, then he likely never will. When people say, I deserve to be loved the way I know I can give it, they mean that they deserve to be in a relationship where someone is treating them in a loving, respectful, and engaged way, not I deserve to have the person say, I love you too, whether they mean it or not when I say it first so my ego isn't bruised. This happened to me and my husband. My husband told me he loved me super quick into the relationship, and I didn't feel comfortable saying it back because I honestly didn't love him at that time. But I knew I care about him and wanted to be with him, so we stayed together. My feelings and affection grew for him until I was able to tell him I loved him back, and actually mean it. Give him some time. I think his response was honest and respectful and a total green flag. I think his response is a huge green flag, honestly. He was open and honest about his feelings while being careful of yours. That bodes really well for having difficult conversations in the future. I know it stings, but try not to see it as a rejection. He clearly cares about you, and some people just move at different paces. If you really care for him and enjoy the relationship, then I wouldn't cut and run for this reason. How long have you been together? Seems like you're both on the same book, just different chapters, if you actually love him. Weird you say you love him, but immediately backpedal on your feelings after. How long have you been together? My boyfriend 26/M is mad at me 24/F for not being totally set on having a baby. Me 24/F and my boyfriend 26/M have been together on and off for 5 years now. Today we're talking at work, and the topic of having kids was brought up again. He is all of a sudden dead set on wanting one, and is telling people that we plan to have a kid one day. Only a month ago it was an, if we have kids. This sudden change about it was never communicated with me, and so I told him today at work, I have been contemplating lately as to whether or not it's worth it to have a kid in the long run. I'm still not ready anytime soon, and I'm still on that maybe. This is a conversation I have been really scared to bring up because I know it would upset him and cause a problem. He stormed off and has given me the cold shoulder all day, and when I would ask him things he would give very short responses like I was making him irritated. We have planned on moving to the rural South and setting up a trailer home on some property so we can have a homestead, but lately I have been feeling uncertain as to whether or not that lifestyle will make me happy in the long run. I love peace and quiet and being in nature, but I also have always dreamed of living in the city and pursuing my art, finding a community of other like-minded alternative people, however that may be. He said, when we have a kid there won't be time for our hobbies anymore. And I can't really accept that. I feel completely disrespected that he got upset with me for feeling uncertain about having a baby and the risks that come with it. I have tocophobia, a fear of pregnancy and what it does to the body. Every time I see a pregnant woman, it puts me in almost a panic. I have tried talking about this to him in the past, and he doesn't seem to want to understand why it scares me so much. He's concerned about carrying on his legacy, and having a son he can take hunting someday. He's becoming a completely different person from the one I first met in a way that I'm not totally comfortable with. Not just hobby-wise, but he is always so negative and never wants to go out or pursue the things he used to love. And when I pursue my hobbies, I feel really judged for it. Some days I feel like having a kid would be wonderful, and then other days I feel like never wanting one. I don't know what to do about this situation, and I feel like we are growing apart from each other. I'm sick of constantly being disrespected in this relationship and feeling unaccepted. It eats away at me more and more every day, and I don't know how much longer I can take this. How can get him to accept how I feel about something this serious? You don't get him to accept anything. You decide what you accept. This guy sees you as an incubator for his legacy and wants to move you to the bumfuck no women's health care or rights, south to live off the grid in a trailer. Yeah, that sounds like a promising future for you. Face with rolling eyes. Men want a baby the way a kid wants a dog. Ultimately, it will mainly be your burden, not his. I think you have outgrown your boyfriend, and there is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people come into and out of our lives because our interests converge for a short time and then diverge. No harm, no foul. Instead of trying to get him to accept, why don't you ask yourself why it would be worth the effort? Make a list of what he brings to your life that makes you feel joy, and what he brings that makes you feel pain. When the pain list is greater than the joy list, it's time to say goodbye. Having a child with this particular man-child would never be wonderful. It would be a living nightmare. Yeah, that does indeed sound like the kind of guy who wants to move to a trailer in the rural South and have a son with whom he can kill animals for fun. And LOL at there won't be time for our hobbies, immediately followed by him waxing poetic about taking his kid with him to his hobby. You know damn well only your hobbies are the ones to go, in his plans. Don't move to the middle of nowhere with a man who doesn't think mothers deserve hobbies. My 30M girlfriend, 29F, wrote suicide notes to her best friend and ex, but not me. We've been together for 1 year now and have moved across the country together and have had a generally great relationship. Some backstory. She struggles with depression and has talked to great lengths about her relationship with her ex. They had a toxic relationship. Mental abusive, physical abuse, and everything that goes along with that. She talks about how much she hates him and how happy she is with me. Last month she was in a very dark state for a few days. The worst I've seen yet. Barely getting out of bed and doing less than the bare minimum for herself. I did my best to be a tether to reality for her in that time. I advocated for self-care and helped her in all the ways that I could: fun date nights, calling loved ones, and just generally exerting myself to try to make her smile. After a few days of that, we got out to the other end in a healthy way. Fast forward to now, she told me that during that period, she wrote suicide notes to people. Those people being her best friend and her ex. Nobody else. I immediately shut down and have had a hard time coping with the thought of that reality. If I found her body, I would be a broken man no matter who she decided to write notes to. But the fact that I wasn't included in that really hurts me. I've been distant since she told me that and don't quite know how to move forward. We've tried to talk, but she doesn't understand where my hurt is coming from. She says stuff along the lines of, well, it didn't happen, so there's nothing to even worry about. To me, it seems obvious that what happened shows that she cares about her ex more than me, but when I try to talk about it, she gets upset and defensive. I'm of course happy that all of this is a what-if scenario, but I can't help but feel that things have changed. If she's in what she perceives to be her final moments and wants to leave a note to her ex rather than me, I feel as if we are on totally different wavelengths when it comes to how important we are to each other. I'm happier in this relationship than I've ever been, and she says she is too. I would like advice on how to talk about this in a healthy way. What would y'all suggest? I would leave. In desperate times, she has shown you her heart, and thoughts are most on the people closest to her. Her best friend and ex, and not you. Do with this information what you will. I just want to say, I've written notes in my life. They are usually unfinished business. I wouldn't say it definitely means she wasn't thinking of you. Rather, maybe she is content enough that there's no unfinished business or regrets with you that she felt she had to address. I'd also say her being able to trust you enough to open up and be vulnerable to you in an extremely dire mental health state is significant. You may be the reason she's still here. Certainly she trusts you significantly to seek help by you. I would suggest to move on. You are not even in her thoughts, and she is most probably stuck on her ex. Why would you be the one to support her in her depression and hard times? It will only get harder for you, and you are probably a rebound. She cannot even understand why you are hurt that she would not consider you as deserving a note. Move on and find someone thinking about you first, without death thoughts preferably. She didn't write them for family either. Seems like she wrote those notes for people whom she has unresolved issues with. I think she hasn't worked through her relationship with her ex. If she's talking about him frequently, that's telling you a lot. She may have some difficulty with a relationship without a lot of highs and lows, and they need to examine that. Are people really making up explanations for this? Unbelievable. Not only she didn't think about you in her worst moment, she told you so you know it, and she says it's nothing. She clearly doesn't give a shit about you or how you feel. I would not be able to stay with someone like this no matter how fun they are to be with in their good moments. My boyfriend, 30M, gave me, 25F, an ultimatum, him or my cat. We've been together for 8 months. We live in different cities, that's a temporary solution, as we both are still studying. The moment we met, I told him I imagined my future family with pets in the house, especially cat or two. He agreed to my view, said he used to live with an ex who had a cat, wishes to have a dog in the future, too. There was no problem with pets in the house. 3 months ago, I managed to rent an apartment on my own. Since then we've been meeting usually at my place, as we can finally have some time alone, no roommates, no parents. When I moved in here, I told my boyfriend I needed a pet. I hated coming back to an empty house. I also wanted to create something like a little family, you know? Him, the pet me. I really believed it could be just the beginning of our future. He didn't say anything about it, not yes, not no. I assumed he just agreed. If he didn't like the idea, he should tell me, right? But everything changed when the cat appeared. Our honeymoon ended, and the tensions began. Cats has always been allowed to sleep in bed in my family home, so it was something natural for me to let my cat sleep with my boyfriend and me. And the cat really doesn't bother anyone in bed. He's not freaking out at night, no zoom eyes, no meowing, no waking up straight in the morning. But suddenly after 2 nights, my boyfriend said in the middle of the night, he can't sleep like that. He went to salon to sleep on the couch till morning. I talked to him during that day. He said he couldn't sleep as the cat was moving, and he needed to be rest to drive back home in the morning, so there's no way he would put up with something like that. He suggested to break up. I was confused, but I really didn't want fights, so I agreed. During the weekends, cat sleeps on the couch. But it wasn't the end. He started complaining about the litter, the smell cat's poop makes, even though I clean it as fast as possible. It happened a few times that my cat had loose stools. Now I know it was because he's allergic to certain foods, and when he sat on his blanket on the couch, he left a print. I put the blanket into the washing machine immediately, but my boyfriend used to get so angry about it. I couldn't understand why he's so mad at the cat, because it's just an animal. Whenever I asked what was wrong, he answered nothing, and continued to ignore me with bitch face. There was no open arguments, but the tension between us. Few days ago, he came to me after wisdom tooth extraction. He had a few leisure days to recover, so I offered to him to spend it together, so I could cook something for us, etc. This day my cat peed on the bed, for the very first time ever, probably because I was staying very long hours at work that day, and he's not used to stay alone for such a long time. Obviously, I first started cleaning the bed, washing the sheets, etc. But my boyfriend got mad I didn't make food first. And then it got even worse. We had to sleep on the couch, cat with us. In the middle of the night, my boyfriend said he couldn't stand it any longer, he would be happy to come back home immediately, but he would do it in the morning. He said he needed to get a proper rest after the extraction, and he couldn't do it in my place. I understood he might have been upset and tired, but I couldn't get what made him so angry. The next day, he wasn't answering my messages the whole day, and when I came back home after work, he wasn't there. He took all of his things. When I called him, as I didn't understand what happened, he said he was feeling really sick and needed to get rest at his home. Yesterday we met, and he said he wasn't ready to live with a cat, and even though he loved me, he couldn't stand pets in the house. He said he didn't want me to choose between him and the cat, but the reality is, everything is about this choice now. I love my BF, and I really thought he would tell me if he had something against a cat in my place. I was doing anything to make sharing a place with a cat as comfortable as I could, but now I'm just torn. Is there any chance for a settlement? And I know we've been together for not so long, but we have plans for living together after finishing studies, a lot of common friends and hobbies. We even know each other's families, so it is something serious, not just a temporary infatuation. Obviously pick the cat. If he wasn't down to live with a cat, he could have said so when you brought it up. Sounds like he was hoping you'd change your mind, and is now throwing a fit that you're sticking to your word. You can find someone better. He's 30 years old, and he's acting like a spoiled 13 years old. Obviously pick the cat. A loving partner does not behave this way. Before having a decent conversation about strategies to address his cat concerns, his first reaction was to say that you should break up. He's told you how little he values this relationship. Believe it. The cat for the win there. Always choose your pet. When I dated my ex-husband, I had 2 dogs. He claimed he loved them. Fast forward a couple years, we're married and one dies. He refuses to even talk about a second dog. Then the complaints about the remaining dog start. I put up with it for too long, finally just adopted my second dog. He admitted they were much happier with 2. But he still complained about them, even though he did nothing to care for them. Never fed, watered, walked, cleaned up or took them to the vet. Take the cat please, you our boyfriend is trash wastebasket.